Hello friends, welcome to the new session of electronic engineering materials. In this session, we are going to discuss unit number 4, that is nothing but semiconductor materials. So let's start. This is the syllabus for unit number 4. Name of that unit is nothing but semiconductor materials. There are 4 unit outcomes, such as the first one is nothing but describe the energy band diagram for the given semiconductor material. Unit outcome number 2, select the material for given type of impurity add in semiconductor. Unit outcome number 3, explain the given effect of semiconductor material and its application. Unit outcome number 4 is select the relevant material for the given semiconductor device. Fabrication with justification. In this unit, the semiconductor materials we have studied with the help of various topics, such as the first one is nothing but the energy bands of solids. In that we have discussed about the conductors, semiconductors and non-conductors. That means uh, it is also called as insulators. Then we will discuss the types of semiconductors, in that the intrinsic material, its impurity types, and the material for various impurities. The third topic is nothing but the diffusion, the various diffusion processes, Hall effect, thermal and electrical conductivity of semiconductor. Then we will discuss the materials for fabrication of semiconductor devices. In that we will discuss about the passive materials and the process materials, its various substrates, metal, capacitance material, junction coatings, device footing, and the packaging of semiconductor material. So let's start to discuss the unit number 4, that is nothing but the semiconductor material. Before of starting at semiconductor material, the question which will be arises in front of us is that what are energy bands, which will be regarding with our semiconductor material. So the energy band is nothing but its set of energy levels which will be defined by that particular atom. Let's begin with our theory of that semiconductor material according with the states of the material. In a gaseous substances, the arrangement of molecules are spread apart and are not so close to each other. In a liquids, the molecules are closer to each other, but in solids, the molecules are closely arranged together. Due to this, the atoms of molecules tend to move into the orbitals of neighboring atoms. Hence, the electrons orbitals overlap when atoms come together. In solids, the several bands of energy levels are formed due to the intermixing of atoms in a solid. These set of energy levels are called as energy bands. the answer of that first question regarding with energy band is that, okay, let's understand the first concept. Okay, in a gaseous substances, the arrangement of molecules are spread apart because in a gaseous states, the atoms present in that particular material or substance is far apart to each other. When we can take the next state of a material, that is in a liquids, the materials or the molecules are closer to each other, no doubt. But due to its liquidity, the distance between molecules between that particular substances are variable. But if we take the third state of a material, that is nothing but in a solid, the molecules are closely arranged to each other. So we can call as the materials are so close together due to that the atoms of a particular materials tends to move into the orbitals of neighboring atoms. It is possible that the outermost orbit molecules should be shifted to any one of next atom orbit because the electrons are moved from one atom to another atom in the solid material. Hence, the electron orbitals, they will be overlapped with each other when atoms are comes together. Therefore, in solids, several bands of energy levels are formed due to that the intermixing of atoms are occurred in solids. These set of energy levels in different intermixing of atoms present in a solid is called as energy bands because in each orbit the energy level of that particular orbit is different from that nucleus. We will already discuss this point in the conducting material. Now the next one is nothing but how these energy bands are formed. So this is the some theory points regarding with that formation of energy bands. In an isolated atom, the electrons in each orbit possesses definite energy. But in the case of solids, the energy level of the outermost orbit, electrons are affected by the neighboring atoms. When two isolated charges are brought close to each other, the electrons in the outermost orbit experiences an attractive force from the nearest or neighboring atomic nucleus. Due to this, due to this reason, the energies of that electrons will not be at the same level. The energy levels of electrons are charged to a value which is higher or lower than that of the original energy levels of the electron. The electrons in the same orbit exhibit different energy levels. The grouping of these different energy levels is known as energy band. However, the energy of inner orbit electrons are not much affected by the presence of neighboring atoms. Okay. In in the unit number 1, that is nothing but the conducting material, we have already discussed this part, that the atoms which will be having the outermost orbit is having lesser energy as compared to the orbits which is closer to the nucleus. Now when two isolated charges are brought close to each other, the electrons in the outermost orbit experiences an attractive force from the nearest or neighboring atomic structure. Due to that, the energies of that electrons with different types of energy are changed to a value which is higher or lower than that of owner that original energy level of the electron. And when the electrons in the same orbit exhibit different energy levels, the grouping of these different energy levels is known as energy band. However, the energies of inner orbit are not much affected because the orbit which is closer to the nucleus is having the maximum energy as compared to the outermost orbit. So this is how the energy band has been formed. Now the next point is nothing but the energy band theory. According to the Bohr's theory, every shell of an atom contains a discrete amount of energy at different levels. Energy band theory explains the interaction of electrons between the outermost shell and the innermost shell. Based on the energy band theory, there are three different energy bands which are present when intermixing of substances will there. The first one is nothing but valence band. Second one should be known as forbidden energy gap, and the third one is nothing but conduction band. Now the energy band theory in Bohr's model, they will be suggested that or informed that the every shell of an atom contains a discrete amount of energy at different levels because the outermost orbit is having the different energy than the innermost orbit. This energy band theory explains the interaction of electrons between the outermost shell and the innermost shell. Now, according to the Bohr's theory or according to the energy band theory, there are three different energy bands which are generally observed in semiconductor material. That are nothing but the first one is nothing but valence band, second one that is nothing but the forbidden energy gap, and the third one is nothing but conduction band. Next is nothing but classification of energy bands. Now this point we will discuss about how the valence band, conduction band and forbidden energy gap band it should be defined or it should be occurs. The electrons in the outermost shell are known as valence electrons. These valence electrons contain a series of energy levels and form an energy band known as valence band. The valence band has the highest occupied energy. Then the next band is nothing but conduction band. The valence electrons are not tightly held to the nucleus, due to which a few of these valence electrons leave the outermost orbit even at room temperature and becomes free electrons. The free electrons conduct current in conductance and are therefore known as the conduction of electrons. The conduction band is similar to the conduction electrons container, which will be having at bottom side of that particular band and has the lowest occupied energy levels. The third one is nothing but forbidden energy gap. Now the gap between valence band and the conduction band is referred to as forbidden gap. As the name suggests, the forbidden gap doesn't have any energy and no electrons stay in this band. If the forbidden energy gap is greater, then the valence band electrons are tightly bound or firmly attached to the nucleus. We require some amount of external energy that is equal to the forbidden energy gap. According to the different types of energy levels, we will be having now the three energy bands. The first one is nothing but valence band. The second one is nothing but the conduction band. And the third one is nothing but forbidden energy gap. Any semiconductor material which will be having a different type of mechanisms according to the forbidden energy gap, conduction band and valence band. According to that, they will be available in different types of applications. So this is the pictorial view of an energy band. Now in the conductor, you can see over here, in the conductor there will be energy mass theory is nothing but there are two axes. The first axis should be indicated as an X. Okay, so over here this is an X axis and this is an Y axis. The Y axis is having the energy parameter, whereas along with X you should be having nothing but a particular according to the majority charge carriers. Now over here the valence band and conduction band, they are close to each other. There will be no any gap between them. Now as compared to this conductor material, the semiconductors device you can see over here, in that semiconductor, in between conduction band and valence band there will be some amount of band gap. some amount of band gap. Or the third one, that is nothing but in insulator, the conduction band is having a top and the valence band is having lowest level. But as per the energy band theory diagram, now according to the conductors, semiconductors and insulators, the energy bands also important in exam point of view. I hope you can understand this one. Now in this valence band and conduction band, now according to this energy band diagrams, we will be defined, that is various types of conductors, insulators and semiconductors. Okay, so we can start with the particular structure of that semiconductor. The first one is nothing but conductors. Gold, aluminium, silver, copper, all these metals allow an electric current to flow through them. There is no forbidden gap between the valence band and conduction band, which results in the overlapping of both the bands. The number of free electrons at the room temperature is large. Next parameter is nothing but insulators. Glass and wood are example of the insulator. These substances do not allow electricity to pass through it. They have high resistivity and low conductivity. The energy gap in the insulator is very high, up to 7 electron volt. The materials cannot conduct because the movement of electrons from now the next part is nothing but semiconductor. Over here we have to be concentrated in this unit. Germanium and silicon are the most preferable material whose electrical properties lie in between semiconductor and insulator. The energy band diagram of semiconductor is shown where the conduction band is empty and the valence band is completely filled out. For germanium, the forbidden gap is a 7 point or 0.72 electron volt, and for silicon it is 1.1 electron volt. This semiconductor requires small conductivity. Now up to this point we will be discussed about the what is meant by semiconductor, what is the meaning of the energy bands, what are their uh, classification according to the and the next part is nothing but to study about conductor, insulator and semiconductor. Okay, so thank you everyone for watching this, and the remaining part of this unit we will be continue in the next lecture. Thank you.